Hi, friends. Welcome to episode number 4 of our intercompany order series. In this episode, we will discuss in detail about the intercompany multi-legged order chain in Microsoft Dynamics 365 Finance and Operation. We will take some time to understand how this multi-legged order chain works. I will also share with you in an Excel how we are going to establish this trading relationship between multiple legal entities. So, with that note, let's quickly jump into today's topic. So let's quickly get into today's topic of episode number 4 in our intercompany order series. So I'll just quickly skip all the slides what we have already covered as part of our episode 1, 2, and 3. Make sure that you watch the episode number 1, 2, and 3 before getting into the multi-legged chain, because once again I will not be getting into some of the basics which we have already covered. So I'll strongly recommend you to watch especially episode number 2 and 3, two-leg chain and the three-leg chain before getting into the multi-leg chain, right? So first, let's try to understand the multi-leg chain. Overall, I would say if you have clearly understood the configuration and the two-leg chain and the three-leg chain, so the idea of the process flow remains the same. But in this case, what happens is, since you have a demand from a specific customer or a legal entity, that particular demand can be fulfilled from multiple child legal entities also from the same parent enterprise. For example, in this case, let's say the Contoso Entertainment Group has DEMF, USMF, and THMF. So these are the legal entities which are available in the demo data, right? So if there is a demand for a customer to fulfill a mid-range speaker, and the customer raises this demand in the legal entity DEMF, and the DEMF does not generally sells the material directly to the customers. So they need to procure the material from USMF. This is what the scenario which we saw in the three-leg chain, right? So imagine like this. Let's say USMF also do not manufacture the item mid-range speakers. Instead, they buy it from THMF. And THMF is a legal entity in Thailand, which is also a enterprise, a legal entity within the parent enterprise Contoso Entertainment Group. But we also will see how if THMF is not actually manufacturing the mid-range speakers, instead they are buying it from Fabricom Thailand, then they need to raise a purchase order, and then this material has to reach THMF, and then THMF has to fulfill the intercompany chain to USMF, and USMF has to complete the intercompany chain and fulfill DEMF, and then at last DEMF completes the original sales order invoicing and dispatch the material to the customer. So that can be multiple scenarios in the real time which may rise because of this intercompany orders. Do not ask me why THMF is directly not supplying to DEMF. So it can be just for the purpose of building a multi-legged intercompany order chain. I just came up with this scenario. It could be maybe because of various reasons, like USMF is consolidating the opportunities from across multiple legal entities and then sells it to the generally the trading legal entity, or because of maybe the mode of delivery or the group buying policies. So it can be various reasons, right? So maybe a Thailand may be a cheap source for mid-range speakers, where THMF sources the material and then redistributes to the parent group company, and then the group company in turn redistributes to the other child companies. So there can be multiple scenarios during which you may have a multi-legged intercompany order chain. The critical aspect here is you need to understand the complete chain. What is the original sales order, where we need to build this trading relationship, which is the parent company and which is the buying company and which is the selling company. So once if you have established those trading relationship across the entire chain, then multi-legged intercompany orders are pretty easy to handle, right? So that's what I have listed here also. Let's say legal entity DMF sells to customer data. So legal entity DMF is selling to customers, but DMF buys stock from USMF. So DMF, every time when it wants to sell mid-range speaker, it will buy stock from USMF. And legal entity USMF sells only to legal entity DMF. So let's imagine USMF is not directly selling to customers, and it always sells only to legal entity DEMF. And USMF also buys stocks from THMF. So USMF is also not a manufacturer, a trader, and USMF generally buys this mid-range speaker always from Thailand manufacturing unit. And THMF also sells only to legal entity USMF. So that's why I said THMF is not directly selling to DEMF, but THMF is first selling to USMF, and USMF will in turn sell it to DEMF. Right? And THMF buys stock from Fabricom Thailand. And THMF also not manufacturing these mid-range speakers, but these mid-range speakers are primarily bought from Fabricom Thailand. So this is the overall scenario which we are going to see right now. And because I just kind of reiterated the same functional flow, because you should be absolutely clear in terms of multi-legged order chain before executing it in the system, right? So what we will do is, as part of this particular demo, I just created a short Excel also for us to understand. Let's say the same, whatever we have discussed in this flow chart, the same thing I have just pointed out in the Excel for ease of understanding. So let me explain this Excel before getting into the D365 system. So we have a quantity 1 for mid-range speaker. AData Corp is the customer. So the customer who is actually raising the order is AData Corp, ADatum Corp. And then on the row number 4, we have the legal entities. Row number 5, we have the order types. Row number 6, we have the account IDs. The account IDs are basically the customer and the vendor accounts which we have created in the system. And row number 7, we are going to capture the respective order references so that it is easy for you to relate and understand the multi-legged intercompany order chain concepts, right? So in column D and E, we have the transactions related to DEMF, and the F and G, it is related to USMF, and H and I are related to THMF, which is Thailand, right? So I hope this Excel is clear right now. So first, what we need to do is we need to establish the trading relationship between DEMF and USMF. This we actually did as part of our previous episode, episode number 3. If you have missed that particular episode, please do check out the same, where we discussed in detail about the 3-legged order chain. So first, let me go back to the system. US001 is the vendor, right? So let me go to Dynamics 365, and I am in DEMF. So let me go to vendors. So USMF should be a vendor in DEMF. Let me go to all vendors, and you can see US-001, right? US-001 is created as a vendor. And if I go to on the top action pane, general and intercompany, I can see that USMF is created and the trading relationship available for Germany, DEMF Germany and USMF. So this trading relationship is available now. That's fine, right? So similarly, we need to establish another trading relationship. So in this case, what I did is between USMF and THMF, I created one more trading relationship. So let me go to USMF. Let me change the legal entity from DEMF to USMF. So once I change it to USMF, we will view all the vendors. So this is the particular vendor, right? So CN001. So this is the intercompany vendor which I have just configured. So we need to establish this trading relationship with THMF legal entity, right? So in CN-001, so CN-001, let me go to general and then intercompany, and then we have the trading relationship which is active for the customer, which is THMF. You can see that is THMF, and then the account ID which you have taken as THMF-000001. So this is the ID. So first you need to do this configuration if you want to check, if you want to do a multi-legged intercompany order chain. So in this case, even though the order is actually the original sales order is raised with DEMF, actually the order will be fulfilled by the vendor who is actually based out of Thailand, supplying to THMF. And we need to check whether this vendor is configured for the item also. So let me go back to release products, product information management, release products. Then so in the release products, we have the mid-range speaker. Then let me click on mid-range speaker, and on the purchase section, we need to check what is the vendor. So you can see CN-001. So right now you can see we are in legal entity USMF, and by default the vendor tagged is CN-001. So if USMF, if there is a demand, so this is the intercompany sales order, right? So through the intercompany sales order, if there is a demand for mid-range speaker, that is fulfilled by the vendor CN-001. That is fulfilled by the vendor CN-001. And if there is a fulfillment required by CN-001, that is primarily done through Thailand. So that's why we have established the trading relationship. So let's go to THMF. THMF. So I'll change the legal entity. So this is fine. So now we are now changed the legal entity to a THMF. So in THMF, if we get into the same item, make sure that the item should be available in DEMF, USMF, and THMF. So then only you will be able to establish this multi-legged intercompany order chain. And in case of THMF, THMF is not manufacturing the item, but instead buying that item from the vendor who is Fabricom Thailand, right? So in THMF, THMF is not even though it's a manufacturing entity, but it primarily buys this particular mid-range speaker from the Fabricom Thailand. So I hope the row number 6 is clear right now. Great. So now we just kind of understood how to configure this. And also you need to make sure that the mode of delivery and the delivery terms, whatever you use by default in the demo data for DEMF and USMF, the mode of delivery and delivery terms are configured. You need to make sure that the same mode of delivery and delivery terms are available in THMF also. I'll quickly show that in the sales order. So let's get into the demo directly, how to do this. So let's go to DEMF. So in the DEMF, what we will do is we will create a sales order for the demand against A Datum Corp for a mid-range speakers. So let me go to sales and marketing, then all sales orders. So what I'll do is I'm going to create a new sales order. So this is against the requirement from A Datum Corp. So let me select the customer name as A Datum Corp. And for the site and warehouse Lavan. And you can see the intercompany is disabled because this is not a intercompany order. This is against a specific customer demand, right? And these are intercompany orders. So let me click on OK. So this creates the original sales order in the system, and let me add the item. And we are going to follow the same process what we saw in case of the previous episode number 3, where we discussed about executing the 3-legged order chain with direct delivery and without direct delivery, right? So it's the process remains the same, but you need to make sure that you have the appropriate trading relationship configured. Then only you will be able to bring that link between the chains. Right, so we have added the item, and let me save this. So first we will establish the first intercompany trading relationship, which is from DEMF. We need to create an intercompany purchase order and an intercompany sales order with USMF. So this is the first trader relationship which we are going to generate. So first, in order to generate that, what we'll do is on the top sales order, go to purchase order. And then we are creating a purchase order, and you can see by default it has picked US-001. US-001 is the vendor which is registered as vendor USMF, right? So let me click on OK. So this will complete the creation of the purchase order in DEMF Germany, and also creation of intercompany sales order. Right, so the operation is completed. So you can see the intercompany sales order is created with the prefix DEMF 001912. Let me copy this. So this is the intercompany sales order ID, and the purchase order is also created 000018. So this is the purchase order. So let me put it since it starts with 0. And then we have the original sales order, which is 000192. So let me have the prefix. Yes. So now you are now sure that we start off by creating the original sales order, because of which resulted in the creation of the intercompany purchase order and the sales order, right? So what we will do is now let's go and check the intercompany purchase order. Let me close this tab. Then on the manage section, you have the purchase order. So for this legal entity, it's not a intercompany purchase order. For example, if we are within DEMF, it is shown as a purchase order and not as an intercompany purchase order. So never confuse. I told this point in the previous video also in episode number 3. Depending on the form where you are, based on which the appropriate the intercompany sales order and original sales order and the intercompany purchase orders will be displayed. Right. So let me confirm this order. So I think it will be confirmed. So once it is confirmed, yeah, so we can see the status is confirmed. So this purchase order is now confirmed. Now what we will do is we will go to the intercompany sales order in USMF and create the subsequent links. So these are the next trade relation number 2, which we need to create right now.
Yep. Even before creating, I will also tell you this mode of delivery and delivery terms. Let me go back to the system. Um, Yep. So here in the under the delivery section, you can see that the mode of delivery and the delivery terms. Make sure that this mode of delivery and delivery terms are available in the THM of Thailand legal entity also. Or if not, please make sure that you create the similar mode of delivery and delivery terms. And then only you can create this trading relationship number 2, which is based on the intercompany sales order from USMF. You are creating intercompany purchase order and the sales order for THMF. Right. So what we will do is now let's go to TEM of 000192. So in order to do that, let me go to manage and then let me go to intercompany sales order. So this will take us to legal entity USMF and we are in sales order DEM of 000192. Right. So now from this sales order, if we have the stock in USMF, then we will directly fulfill this order. Since we don't have the stock for USMF and this primarily intercompany order need to be fulfilled by THMF, what we need to do is we need to once again build that intercompany chain. So in order to do that, we will follow the same step. Like you need to go to sales order, click on purchase order on the new section, and you can see the vendor account is CN-001. So this is the vendor account CN-001. So let me click on include and then let me click on OK. So this will create the next intercompany chain link and create the subsequent 3 orders. So if the operation is successfully completed, if I click on message details, you can see once again the intercompany sales order USM of DEM of 000192. So this is why in the episode number 1 we discussed that it is always recommended to use the prefix of the company and then followed by the number of the original order. So let's say in THMF, this is the order reference of the intercompany sales order, and purchase order it is 00000134. This is the purchase order reference, right? Sorry. So let me give a prefix. So this is the next intercompany chain link which we created, right? So now you can very well able to relate how this multi-legged order chain is working right now, right? So in order to fulfill the demand for 000192, you need to create a intercompany sales order for USMF, and then the intercompany sales order in USMF results in the creation of another intercompany sales order in DHMF with the prefix USMF USMF DEMF 000192. Right, but in order to fulfill this requirement in THMF, we need to create a purchase order in the with the vendor THMF 500 right? So let's go to that particular order USMF DEMF 000192. So go to manage, click on intercompany sales order, then this will take us to the legal entity THMF, and this is the sales order USMF DEMF 000192. Right, so in order to fulfill this sales order, if we have stock in THMF, then this sales order can be directly fulfilled by you can go ahead and reserve the material and then complete the packing slip posting and then process the material. And even though let's say if we have the stock and we don't want to use this five quantity, so this is because the exchange rate is not configured, that is completely fine. But let's say uh, if the two quantity is reserved, rate cannot be found for exchange rate type default between currencies. Okay, because this is because of the exchange rate we are getting this error message, and we need to make sure that the exchange rate configuration is in place, because in this case this was between euro and USMF. We might have the same exchange rate, but in this case it is the exchange rate between USMF and I'm not sure what's the currency. The currency is THB and the CNY. So that's the reason we are getting this error. But if we have the exchange rate in place, then that should be fine. But right now let me kind of unreserve this. So Let me unreserve this. So I just unreserved the item. So that should be fine. So that's why I said we need to make sure that the configurations are in place. So now we have the one and then two between this is one chain and this is another chain, two, then three, then four. We have four intercompany chains. So now let me go back. So USM of DEM of 000192. So this is the order, right? You can also execute this order by clicking on the sales order, purchase, and then again the purchase order, and you can see this is the vendor account which we have configured, which we saw in the item master within THMF. So because in THMF this is the vendor which we have configured, so that's the reason this is actually created, and then you click on include it and then click on OK. So this will create the next chain for executing this order with the vendor, and the purchase order must be automatically created. And you can see this is the purchase order created in the system in THMF. So this is the last order reference. Great. So now the overall flow, what we saw is we created the demand by using the order ID 000192, which resulted in creation of the intercompany purchase order and the sales order. And to fulfill the sales order DEM of 000192, we created a purchase order to the legal entity THMF. And in the THMF, we also created a sales order, which is an intercompany sales order. And the prefix clearly says this is a demand against DEM of against the order 000192. And to fulfill this demand in THMF, we also created an order with the vendor, which is THMF 000005. Right. So this is primarily constituting the multi-legged intercompany order chain, and you can also try this out by enabling the direct delivery so that the material is delivered directly from the vendor THMF 000005 to directly to A Data Corp. In that case, the delivery address in the vendor will be that the delivery address of A Datum Corp. So you can try this out in the system, and because trying out the various combination of use case scenarios will help you to understand the concept much better. And I hope you have all the basics which are required in order to execute the multi-legged intercompany order chain, right? So also in this case, what I want also to show here is at any point in time, if you go to general section, you can view the related orders. So it will show both the places intercompany purchase order and the related purchase orders. If you go to the intercompany purchase order, there also you will be able to view what is the related intercompany sales order, and also the if you go to the general section and related orders, you can view the sales order and the intercompany sales order. So if I'm in the purchase order, I can view the sales order and the intercompany sales order. If I'm in the sales order, then I will be able to view the purchase order and the intercompany purchase order. So the purchase order, what I mean by purchase order is if the purchase order is within the same legal entity, and if it is an intercompany order, that order will be in a different legal entity. So that's how it is logically grouped under the related orders. At any point in time, you can view both the sales order within the same legal entity and the intercompany order in the different legal entity, right? So, and once again, you can do the product research, complete the invoicing, and appropriately, if you want, if it is a direct delivery, then you can auto post the product receipt, so that the moment the product receipt is done for THMF, it is done for USMF. The packing slip will be posted for USMF, and then the product receipt will be posted in DMF. All this will happen simultaneously. So that's the beauty of using intercompany multi-legged chain in Dynamics 365. Great. So and also I just want to highlight one more thing, that if you go to manage and let me go to original sales order. Um, so again I have to go to the original, because for that particular purchase order, this is the original sales order, and for this particular demand, what is the original sales order, then it will be 000192. So this is the original sales order for that requirement. This is where the demand is generated, right? So in the original sales order, even if you create any sales order, if you want to automatically create all these intercompany chains, if you have the appropriate trading relationships configured, then in the sales order header section, there is a intercompany FOS tab where you can enable auto create intercompany orders, but this order is already executed. But otherwise, you can enable this auto create intercompany orders. And let's say in this for a simple example use case, we just added only one item. Let's say we have 10 different items and it is actually required from 20 different legal entities. And then if you want to automatically create the intercompany chain, in those cases, make sure that you enable the auto create intercompany orders and then execute the original sales order. Then you will be able to have those intercompany chains multi-legged created automatically, and all you have to do is go to the respective legal entities and then execute the orders, right? So I will also share the Microsoft Learn document where you will have some details around how to build this or auto create intercompany orders. And you can also test this out by using the option of direct delivery. And this will also help you to understand how to execute their direct delivery in case of a multi-legged intercompany order chain. Great. So let me go back to the presentation. I hope now, looking at this Excel now, you should be clear how we established multi-legged intercompany chain and how we established the trading relationships. And once if we have these proper configurations, then anybody will be able to execute the multi-legged intercompany order chain. But I will strongly recommend you to do this out in the system using the demo data. Then only you will get a complete hold of intercompany orders in Dynamics 365. So let me go back to the slide. So that kind of brings us to the end of this episode. So make sure that you subscribe to the channel D365 Talks or follow my profile in LinkedIn. I'll catch you soon. The next episode, episode number 5, where we will discuss some of the important inquiries and the reports related to the intercompany order chain. And in some of the cases, you will be able to remove the intercompany chain for all the list of orders. We'll also quickly see how to de-link these intercompany chains and what are all some important inquiries which we can use. So see you soon in episode number 5. Sriram Sivashankaran signing off.